Hans Wormhat. In this video, I want to talk about one little observation, and I don't think I've ever heard this before. To me, this seems like something that should just be kind of common knowledge as really big, what some people might call coincidence, but I don't really believe in coincidences anymore. And for me, it's just another piece of the puzzle and more confirmation that the Bible is the truth and God is real and Jesus Christ is real. And let's get into the video. Pie in the sky has always been kind of a weird expression. And I wonder if it's not pie, P-I-E, in the sky, but it's pi, P-I, in the sky. And you know how people make a big deal over this pi thing? 3.14, 3.14, they kind of bash that into your head. And it's clearly an important mathematical concept, and I mean they give it a name. The type of number that pi is, they call it a transcendental number, and they have these interesting properties. Their decimal representation never ends and it never repeats itself, doesn't ever fall into a pattern. It's ever changing, no end. Humans can never write down the last digit of pi. So there's these mathematical things that I believe they probably call them transcendental because they transcend what a human can't write down what pi is. Just to give you an example of interesting things about this number. A lot of bright orange going on. So this video is about how people make this huge deal about pi. I have a lot of experience in academia and STEM, science and math, and people make a huge deal over Pi Day. Oh, and whenever pi comes up in situations, people get a huge kick out of it. There's a lot of instances in mathematics where pi surprisingly just pops out, and it's always a big deal when that happens. Pi 3.14. Exodus chapter 3 verse 14, 3.14. So I'm going to read Exodus chapter 3 verse 14. It's one of the most important verses in the entire Bible. What do you know? And God said unto Moses, I am that I am. And he said, Thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, I am hath sent me unto you. And there's a few interesting things about this, like the cyclical nature of the first statement, I am that I am. That is like a circle. It ends where it started. God is the Alpha and the Omega. And I think that this is where they get ideas for corrupted things like the Ouroboros and things, like a snake eating its own tail. It's also kind of interesting that pi, it doesn't just go 3.14, it goes 3.1415. So I looked this up last night after, honestly, I was just reading Exodus and I just noticed that, oh, 3.14. And I just made that connection with pi. And so I started looking into it, and this isn't something that I'm the first one to ever notice this, but I'm just surprised it's not something that everybody knows. Oh, pi, did you know that 3.14 in Exodus is where God declares, I am that I am? It's where God gives his name to Moses. It's a very important part of the Bible. Probably the most important part of the Old Testament, right here. And it just so happens to be pi. Anyways, pi is 3.1415. So people also suggested that it could also be referencing the next verse. And God said moreover unto Moses, Thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, The Lord God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob hath sent me unto you. This is my name forever, and this is my memorial unto all generations. So here, I could only find one. This was a post from 2018. This is really recent. I don't know why this isn't something that people just always bring up. This should just be common knowledge. And to me, it's more than just a coincidence. It's just so interesting to me that something like pi, 3.14, something that people bring up all the time. And I mean, nowadays people throw pi parties You're supposed to eat pie on Pie Day. There's another thing. They're obsessed with puns. Rather than tell you, oh, did you know that 3.14 in Exodus is where God says his name? Rather than tell you something like that, what they do is they go over the board, or they go overboard with puns. Pie Day, you're supposed to eat pies. They're infantile. Rather than rather than telling you interesting things, they just make it this freak show. So I don't know about this other stuff. The pi symbol, capital Pi, is God's name in the Bible. Pi, see, I don't buy into this, but I just wanted to show you that people have talked about this, but it was in 2018, and this person says a new book goes through great detail. Why isn't this something that they teach in seminary? Why aren't all the pastors out there making this connection, showing people these connections? It's because they would rather talk to you about the cosmos and dinosaurs and ridiculous fake stuff. I often think of this clip in Seinfeld where I forget somebody says God bless you, and it takes him aback, George, and he says, you don't hear that much about God anymore. And it's true. You hear about dumb stuff. Oh, Pie Day. Let's go eat some pie. You you don't hear people say interesting things about God. I just think, to me, this is just very interesting. Why have I never heard anybody talk about how there's this connection between pie and God, and specifically a very important, it's not like you go to Exodus 3.14 and it's just some statement about God. It's like the most important verse in the Old Testament where God reveals his name to Moses. So it's not just some one-off verse talking about God. It's probably the most important. And yeah, nobody talks about God anymore. Think about how awkward people would feel if you went around telling people God bless you when you sneeze. Some people would look at you like you kicked their dog. The compass, that instrument on top, it's for drawing circles. So pi is connected to circles. Every circle in existence, the ratio of the outside, the circumference to the diameter, it's always 3.1415, this never-ending number. And what do you know, the Masons, they have a compass on top of that 90-degree angle. And in my opinion, it represents when God created this place in 7 days. G is the 7th letter. God created this place in 7 days, and when he created this place, what he did was drew a compass on the face of the waters. The earth is a circle, not a sphere. Compasses draw circles. Job chapter 26, verse 10. He hath compassed the waters with bounds until the day and night come to an end. Drew a compass, drew a circle. Job also talks about the north hanging over the empty place. Just kind of an interesting verse, which makes me believe the north, the immense ice lands of the north, is actually the outer ice wall and hangs over nothing. And because that's the outside of the disk, hanging over nothing. I don't know what's going on. I don't know how the waters above and the waters below all work. Very interesting. But again, things that everyday people don't talk about that stuff. Just the first time I heard people talk about the firmament really was watching It's Always Sunny, and they were making fun of it, mocking it, talking about the firmament. Why don't I hear people talk about the firmament? But after the awakening in 2017, we hear people talk about this stuff a lot more. At least I do, but it's because I'm kind of seeking this stuff out. Proverbs chapter 8, verse 27. When he prepared the heavens, I was there. When he set a compass upon the face of the depth. So, setting a compass, drawing a circle. Look at this. The compass app. 33. And over here on the far right one, it's 27. You know the 27 Club? All the famous people who allegedly die when they're 27? It's because 27 is a perfect cube. It's 3 times 3 times 3. 333 gets you 27. Two of their favorite numbers right here. I just thought that was funny. Not this type of compass. This type of compass. It's for drawing circles. And here we have this. Isaiah chapter 40, verse 22. He that sitteth upon the circle of the earth. It's a circle, not a sphere.